Everyone, Monica Jazik from RPI Education, and welcome back to the Financial Freedom Summit. In this series, you'll hear from 21 experts sharing powerful, little-known wealth-building strategies that 98% of people are not using. These interviews are packed with real, actionable steps to help you fast-track your financial freedom. So let's jump in with today's guest, Jose Luis Lopez. Hey, Jose, how are you doing?
Hey, Monica, very good. Thank you for the invitation. Happy to be here.
I am so happy you're here too. I'm just going to read a quick bio on you before we get started. So, Jose Luis is a 38-year-old married man with 4 children. So, you know we have something in common there, right?
Nice.
Started digital marketing back in 2010, selling information products on personal development and financial independence, being able to touch hundreds of thousands of lives across the globe. He's made more than 1 million followers between all of his social networks, and he also started investing in crypto in 2016 and started a private investment fund in 2021, which is still working and preparing for the bull run and has managed more than $4 million in crypto assets across different sectors. Well, that is absolutely amazing, Jose. And I'm so excited to have you here because I know nothing about crypto except for people have made tremendous amount of money with it. People have lost tremendous money with it, not doing it the right way. But also, I think crypto really is the way of the future. And so I'm so excited that you're here. Thank you so much for joining us.
Very happy to share. Very happy. I believe this is a technology that is going to change the world. And it is happening already because back in 2010, when I started working through psychology and working through different ways to impact more people, the idea was internet just arrived and it's going to be a tool to connect with millions of people. So the idea of expanding the ways for you to reach more people that already need what you have, in that sense, talking about psychology and relationship advice and personal growth and so on and so forth, that's what inspired me to go into the intermarketing route back in 2010 when it was not so popular. And that same spark of that, or I don't know what would be the right way to say it, but that a spark of illusion of how the world is going to change with internet. I just got the same idea in 2016 when I realized the power of Bitcoin and the power of cryptocurrency. And I truly believe that the world is going to be so much more different after the crypto space is embraced by the majority of the population, that the change we saw with the internet. So imagine the world before and after internet. I mean, this conversation couldn't be happening without the internet. I believe that the crypto space is going to impact our lives so much more than what the internet has already impacted. So I'm really excited about this topic, definitely.
Yeah, no, this is amazing. And crypto, I usually the question really goes is why do you think that this wealth strategy is so underused? Crypto, I would actually put as probably more of a popular investment strategy in terms of in comparison to say real estate or mortgages and a lot of these things, because I think people kind of feel that crypto really, like you said, is more a way of the future. And I think it really has grasped the younger generation. And like I said, I have 4 kids as well, which is amazing. And I remember a couple of years ago, my son would have been about 10 years old, and he knew what the value of Bitcoin was and how it worked and how things are mined. Like it's almost like,
Yeah,
when you're
yeah,
us, I guess I'm probably older than you, but when you have a problem with your phone and you pass it and my kid, I remember my daughter at 4 years old grabbing it, rolling her eyes at me and saying, "Let me fix this for you." And with a couple of swipes and understanding, just hands it over and has it all fixed. It's like a different way of investing, and it's one that the younger generation, I think, really grasps. Like, how used do you see crypto? And if people are not currently investing in crypto, what do you see those biggest obstacles being?
I believe one of the biggest obstacle is thinking that it's technologically too complex to jump in. It would be like someone trying to create an app or to start creating a website back in 2013, back in 2012, when it was really nice. The business had a website, but then it was maybe too complicated to techie for you. But then now every business needs to have a website. I mean, you need to figure it out because the world is here. I believe that crypto right now it's at that type of stage where you might be a little scared of the technical side of it, but I mean, that's where the opportunity lies. Because if you wait up until the big investment funds and the banks and the government, and that's actually happening right now. I mean, this is not a talk about the future. I mean, right now in the United States, all the regulations, the SEC, the Fed, pretty much everything, it's turning pro crypto. And it's going to come the time where you're going to be able to buy Bitcoin within your application on your cell phone, within your bank. That moment is going to come. And I believe that the biggest opportunity is to recognize if that's going to happen, it might be worth to spend the extra time to learn how to do it before that happens, so we can have that edge, if you know what I mean.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I totally get that. So tell us what you were doing before you started using, this strategy in crypto, and like, what was a pivotal moment that really happened in your life where you knew that, you had to make a change?
Well, I realized that the first time when I saw the opportunity of making money, because I mean, I come from a family that didn't have a lot of resources. We come from really, really humble beginnings. And I always wanted to make more money for my family. I always wanted to be able to provide and to help my mother. My father didn't have unemployment back then. And it was really difficult for me to see my mother struggle and me not being able to do anything. So I always wanted to build more. I always wanted to have wealth. And when I saw intermarketing, it felt like a huge opportunity to be able to touch millions of lives. But that happened at a moment where I didn't have money, I didn't have experience, I didn't have self-confidence, I didn't have self-esteem, I didn't have so many things that I actually needed in order to jump into a new venture. But I did it anyway, and it turned out really well. I would say it turned out well because I'm able to provide for my family, so that's good. But in 2016, when I saw the opportunity on crypto, the thing was, I do have money now, and now I have experience, and I'm a grown man now, and I have resources. And I mean, it would be a shame to see this huge opportunity in front of me and having the resources to approach it and just let it go. I mean, if the first time I could take it and it changed my life, changed the life of my family for the better, and I didn't have resources to approach it, how is going to be my life within the next 10 years if I actually jump in 100% into this new opportunity that I'm seeing? I believe that I'm always more built towards the benefit and not so much to the risk. I believe that that's why also crypto space is really tempting for myself. I really like the big upswing that we can have with this type of investment.
Oh, you certainly can have a big upswing, can't you?
Yeah,
And that's what I always say. Normally, when we talk about real estate, we say real estate, there's no other investment out there where you could get the amount of capital and returns through real estate unless it's a very, very lucky stock pick or you're smart with crypto. And
yeah,
I think that your psychology background must really have helped you manage
definitely.
I mean, being an emotionally astute investor and really kind of knowing how to manage it and sort of predict these sort of things, that must have been really, really a good predictor of your success with crypto as well.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I believe that emotional resilience is one of the biggest skills you can build in order to have financial success. Because most of the things, and I mean it, most of the things, of the times, things don't come along as you want them to come. I mean, they happen. It's not 100% of the time. Maybe it's 20% of the time. Maybe it's 25% of the time. And you have to be able to handle rejection. You need to be able to handle frustration. You need to be able to handle grief in a way that lets you keep on building disregarding all the information that you have around. Because most of the times when you're actually building the wealth that the crypto space is willing to give you, it's on the moments where everybody is thinking that that is not the right space to be. So you have to go against the tide in order to build wealth within crypto. You need to see the things that people are not willing to see because they are too afraid to look up to.
Absolutely. And you have to really be able to trust in yourself, your resources, and your instinct. I think that's why network and having mentors like yourself and people who are able to provide guidance on this are so important because you should ask yourself, and this part of financial freedom is really if you, the five people that you spend the most of your time with, what are they doing? And are they doing what you want to do? You always want to not be the smartest person in the room. You always want to be learning from others. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room, I think.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you always want to be learning from others. And when you're learning from people, see what results they're getting. How are they growing? How are they changing? Are they getting the results that you want? Because I think so often people turn to their friends and their family who are doing exactly what they're doing. And then by doing so, you not only inherit their results, but you also inherit their fears and their concerns that may not even have been yours before as well. So it's very important to, one, go out on your own and trust yourself, but two, utilize your resources through mentors, education, and people that are doing what you want to.
yeah, yeah. And that is really great, Monica, that you bring that up because your intuition, it's actually the sum of all of the experience that you have had within your life. And that's your unconscious mind telling you what is the result of all of the experience you've had in the past with the experiment that you have in the present. Because your conscious mind is not able to do that operation in the moment. Your unconscious mind do the operation and then tells you what you should be doing with what you have in front of you. That's intuition. It's not something magical. It's your unconscious mind making a summary of all of your past experiences. So if, and that is a big if, you have a lot of experiences within a certain area of expertise, then you can trust your intuition because you have enough experience built up for that insight. If you don't have a lot of experience, then your intuition might be the thing putting you away from the good results because your intuition is not based on a big chunk of experiences. Your intuition might be based on the fear you got in a different industry, in a different area, in a different investment, in a different side of your life. Which is why sometimes, as a side note, I also do psychotherapy. I'm a psychologist, and I help couples solve their issues. And sometimes I have some women that say, I have this intuition that something is happening in our relationship. And sometimes it does, but unless you have 100 relationships built and or seen within your life, you cannot trust your intuition because your intuition is not built for that. So you need to trust the intuition of someone that has seen 100 different relationships in that situation. So I believe what you have said is two sides of the same coin. In one side, you need to be able to trust the intuition of someone that has more experience within that area. And as you build your own, you need to be able to trust more in yourself as you build your backlog of experience, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. Now, can you walk us through your strategy, like the crypto strategy, and how you use this strategy to fast track your wealth and create financial freedom in your life?
Yes, yes, it depends on the stage of where you are. If I'm going to talk about my strategy, it has changed a lot from 2016 to what it is now. Because right now, back then, I looked at the different sectors of the market because within the crypto space, you can have different sectors. For example, in 2021, you had the metaverse sector, you have the NFT sector, you have the games sector, you have DeFi, different protocols that were aiming to move finances into the Web3 world, and you got different spaces. So back then, my idea was to find the top 3 or top 4 participants in each sector, and then allocating a percentage of my portfolio in each one of those. Maybe about 80% of my portfolio was between the top 3 sectors and the top 3 to top 4 players within each sector. So I was kind of sure, quote unquote, sure, that as the industry moves along in the right direction, because I believe in this, and I believe that the world is moving there, most of them are going to do well. And then the other 20% of those, I allocate them into emerging technologies, something that I find that can be revolutionary for the others that are already working and that are more riskier assets because they are smaller companies, they got a smaller market cap, they got a smaller team. But if one of those happen to be, it could be a moonshot. You could have 100x, you can have 150x your money, and that is not something you're going to find anywhere else in the world. So it's a good opportunity. So back then, that was the idea. And I mean, if you are listening to this and you're trying to build a portfolio for the first time, I would advise this strategy as the main strategy, because that takes away the 10 years of experience you need to have in order to do the other thing that I'm going to tell you how to do. Because this thing might not give you 100x, but it will pretty much give you maybe 10x, 15x, 20x your money. If you jump into the industry in the right moment and you exit at the right moment, you can very well make 10x your money, 15x your money. That is really good. So that's one thing. The other thing, which has taken me more than almost 10 years to learn, is that in order to make money in crypto, you need to be able to anticipate where everybody is going to go and get there first. But that is really, really complicated to do, because most of the times, even though there are metrics that you can take a look at, for example, you can take a look in different projects how the centralization of the money is. It's not the same if a 50% of the project is held by private investors that are going to dump as soon as they get a certain amount of profit, as if most of the money is spread within thousands of wallets from people around the world. That's why Bitcoin is so appealing, because it's so spread around the world that it's safe to invest there, because there is no one participant that can tank the price or skyrocket the price. That is changing as we move into the ETFs world and the finance world jumping. That is changing, but that was the original premise of the utility of Bitcoin, that it was spread out the world. So there are some metrics that you can take a look to know where to invest your money, but most of the times you need to interact with the community that is behind the coin that you are betting on, and that is building the project that you're betting on. There is nothing like jumping into the Discord of the group, jumping into the Telegram of the group, editing and following all the main characters on X, and actually spend time, hours, weeks, months interacting with people. Because if you get to interact with people, you're going to be able to see what project actually has legs to go farther than other projects. I've seen so many projects on the top 10 or top 20, that when you go into Discord and you go into trying to talk with the admin group and you raise a ticket and you talk, I mean, there is nothing there. It's just hype. It's just flashy news and VC money pushing the numbers. So we as retail put more money in so they can get out after. I mean, but you don't get in those if you actually do the homework and jump into the communities and talk to the people. If you do that, you are able to find those gems that, in my opinion, can make 100x or 150x your money during the next bull run. But you have to invest the time, or be with someone that actually invests the time, whatever you
Well,
choose.
let's talk about that because this sounds like a very, very active strategy, which is great because this is not, guys, audience, this is not a get rich quick. Any
No,
financial freedom strategy that you're going to
no,
focus on here, you're going to got to put
no.
in the work. Now, that sounds like a lot of work, and that sounds like a lot what I do for real estate investing because that's my area of specialty. Do you offer for other people like me? Because I'm like, listen, I need to diversify in crypto because one, I need something more cash flow. I need something more liquid. And I also, but I don't have the time and energy. And I also think I don't trust myself enough to even be able to make those decisions or spot those winners. Can I use
Yeah.
someone like yourself to help do that for me?
Yes, of course, definitely, definitely. There is a consulting service that I have where we can jump on in a call and I can see your portfolio and I can answer pretty much every question you have around the crypto space within not every project but every major project and I can help you build your portfolio. Or there is the other option where you can invest in my fund and then I can manage it for you. I send you reports, I talk to you about it, and either way that can work for your portfolio.
I like that. Both options sound amazing. Well, I have no crypto because I really, like I said, I see the importance of it. I definitely want to diversify in it for wealth building means. But, if you don't know what to do, I think that's a fantastic option to invest with someone who knows what they're doing. That's like what we do with real estate. I don't know what your real estate is, but you might be like, I need some real estate in my portfolio. I'm not going to go out and become a real estate expert. I might go out and do it with someone else. I do think everyone needs some extent of crypto in their wealth plan. I will say that. I am going to personally be contacting you because I need to start adding this as well. And because I really do firmly believe it is the way of the future. And I'm also going to firmly state I know nothing about it. I have a hard time going from such a bricks and mortar kind of analysis in regards to investments and how tangible real estate is, and taking that to something that's doesn't essentially even exist. But you can't ignore it. Like you can't, our whole monetary banking system is changing. If you are an ostrich and you stick your head in the sand, no matter how confused you are, how scared you are, because a confused mind will not act. So instead of being confused, one,
Yeah.
make the effort to learn all about it, or consult an expert to explain it to you. Like Warren Buffett says, any expert should be able to explain their investment strategy with a crayon to a 4-year-old. Um, so they'll
Yeah.
understand it. And have that confidence you need to start learning and diversifying. So I think it's amazing. That's absolutely incredible. How would you say, though, crypto and the whole strategy goes against conventional financial planning advice?
Oof, that's complicated because for you to be excited about crypto and for you to be able to jump in, you need to acknowledge the possibility of bigger returns that the financial markets have been telling you for decades. I mean, for decades, it's been like put your money in S&P 500 and get 10% a year every year for the next 50 years and you will be okay. And having that idea, I mean, that idea worked perfectly for the previous generations.
10%? That sounds like a pretty good return that you got there. I've been hearing people getting 3. You
Yeah,
went
I mean,
3%.
if we offset the inflation and we offset a lot of different factors, definitely you end up with less than that. But that idea worked well for the previous generations. That idea right now, with the rate of inflation that we're seeing and the rate of money printing that we're seeing, and I mean, the M supply is skyrocketing like never before. That is not something that can be appealing for new generations forever. So I believe that the first thing is opening the possibility of a better future with a new industry. This would be like investing in those tools 50 years ago, because people that invested in these tools 50 years ago had the returns they talk about. But right now, if you invest in this new tool, then you're going to be able to get so much better returns. So I would believe, I would say that belief, that's weird to translate into brick and mortar terms, but the belief of the technology being embraced by the world is going to give you financial benefits. It's the foundation. As soon as you believe that the technology can make a financial world better, then all roads lead to crypto. So you just need to believe that your cell phone is gonna give you better financial life. So you understand the link between technology and your financial life. And once you have that click, all roads lead to crypto.
I love that. It really is that mindset of belief. And if people really kind of want to put it into perspective, think back to 20 years ago, where Facebook was just a new thing. That was like social media was a new thing. Our phones were a new thing. We couldn't do half the things we do, or even a quarter of the things we do on our phones now. Like that is just totally transformed our life. And it's also transformed generations and ways of thinking. So go back to the example of my daughter, 4 years old, grabbing my phone, rolling her eyes at me and fixing it for me because that's all she knows. She was born into that life. This is why a 10-year-old was able to tell me what Bitcoin, the cost of Bitcoin was and how crypto works, because they were born more into this and they understand this. I think unlearning a lot of these conventional ideas is really important in financial freedom. And it's really what I hope people achieve in this Financial Freedom Summit is sometimes you need to unlearn these old ideas to really move forward and get that freedom because traditional financial planning no longer serves us. It really does not work. And if people want to be able to retire, they want to have more money every month, because like you said, with the cost of inflation, the job uncertainty and what jobs are paying, and if people want to be able to help their kids out. Now, to most of us entrepreneurs, kids are everything. How, with the cost of living, how are kids going to get forward? How are they going to be homeowners? How are they going to be knowing to grow their money if the school systems are giving them this traditional financial advice?
Yeah, yes, definitely. It's a shame how we have come to the point where having children is a luxury. I mean, when you were telling me that you also have 4 children, well, here in Latin America, it's even more complicated, the situation. So most of the people see having 4 children or more like what happened with you. I mean, how can you are able to afford that with this type of situation? It's not common. You don't do that. I believe that there are new tools out there to help you create your financial freedom. There are tools. It's just that you have to be open to the possibility. So when you hear things like this conversation and all the other interviews that you have in this summit, you are actually able to take action because you have to be open to be able to take action. So the opportunities are here. They have been here. I mean, Bitcoin started in 2008, right after the crisis on the real estate market. But you have to be on the stage where you're actually willing to move forward. And maybe this is the moment.
Yeah, I think the time is now. Don't feel like you missed out on the time. It's always evolving and there's always a time to jump in. It's not too late to start investing in this technology, is it?
Not at all. Not at all. Actually, if we take a look at the numbers of adoption, the investing in crypto right now, it would be like investing on the internet in 2014. So, I mean, think about how would it be your business or any other business if it started working a social media presence in 2014 nonstop until now. I mean, it would be huge. It would be able to reach hundreds of millions of people at a time because of the adoption curve, how it grew. And it's pretty much the same. And it's not going to get slower because with AI and all the other technological advancements that we have right now, this is just going to get faster and faster.
Absolutely. I do have a question about actually the crypto investment. If for people who are looking to get started, what is the smallest amount that people could put in to actually start snowballing these results so they
Yeah,
can
I mean,
reinvest?
you can start with up to $10, $20, $100. I mean, you don't have to have a lot of money to do it. You can open up your account if you're in US. You can do it on Coinbase or Binance. It's a pretty reputable website where you can do it. But pretty much in every country there is a place where you can buy crypto. And my advice would be not to think on on a certain amount of money that you can put in and forget, but having a sustainable amount of money that you can put across a long period of time. So you DCA, you dollar cost average your investment. So you don't look for when the market is high, you don't look for when the market is low. You just say, I'm gonna invest $100 a week or $1,000 a month or whatever your number is, because everybody has different numbers. And just whatever the price it is, I'm gonna put this amount of money every week or every 15 days or every month. Or you can even set it up on your exchange. Coinbase has an option where you can just set it up, just load your money there, you set it up and you forget it. So across 1 year, across 2 years, you're gonna have a stable price of entry that, because of the adoption of the crypto world into the rest of the world, it's going to keep on growing every year.
Absolutely. And so for your fund, is there like a minimum investment to invest in your crypto fund? And so you're
Yes.
able to.
Yes, there is a minimum of $20,000
Mm-hmm.
to invest on the fund. And but if for whatever reason that is not an amount that you can invest, there is also the option of consultant where I can help you create your portfolio with whatever number that is, and we can build up with that. Actually, most of the people on my investment fund right now, maybe not all of them, but from the 60 people that I got, maybe about 53, 54 started with consultancy, and then they built up the amount of money so they could join the fund. So pretty much most of them started that way.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing. And so if I had $20,000 to invest in your fund, 20,000 US dollars, and I was to give it to you to invest in your fund, and then this actually doubles in value, say through a strategic win, and we leave it in the fund. Do you automatically take those earnings and reinvest it to continue to grow, or do you do a cash flow distribution?
We do a cash flow distribution, not based on goals, but based on market cycles. Because sometimes with crypto, a good market cycle can give you so much more than that or not. So to be constrained with multiples, it's really complicated in this industry. So one of the things that I take in consideration is market cycles. For example, right now, the next 17th of September, where the Fed is it's very much likely to drop rates, we're going to start seeing more money flowing into the crypto space. So I'm planning to make a cash out of all the investors between December and January next year. So that's the first window.
Yeah. I love that you said that, because that reminds me of real estate. It really works in these cash cycles. And during COVID-19, real estate
Yes,
became the most popular investment, and
exactly,
everyone was overpaying. And we advised all our clients, now is the time to sell or
exactly,
refinance. And people
exactly.
were making hundreds of thousands of dollars selling these properties, especially properties in tertiary markets, for 3 times the amount that they
Yes.
paid for them. And I said, guys, this is never going to be worth this amount for another 20 years, like in this market. Cash out and bring it into an A+ market, and you could do it more.
Exactly.
So I love how you do that, because I think back to crypto when the Bitcoin, really, people were on that rise. And I remember my friend's son was making, like, he made $60,000 on this,
Wow.
but he did not sell in time. He rided it. He thought it's going to go higher and higher and higher.
Yeah, yeah.
Either you really need an advisor like yourself who's been there and lived through these trends and could spot these windows, and are there like, hey guys, I know you're super excited that we've 10 times or 100 times your investment. The party's going to end soon. We got to cash out. Otherwise, I
Yes.
think this goes back to our conversation about being an emotionally, astute investor, like, because good times never last. There's always, ebbs and flows in business and investments and in life. We got to have that emotional thing to shut off, and then also say, you know what? I'm selling, and yeah, it went up 10 times higher, and that's okay.
And that's okay.
That's
And that's
okay.
okay. Because
Mhm.
it is impossible for me to know what is the absolutely highest level that we are going to reach. We cannot know. So it is definitely good to have goals in mind of how much we're going to grow. in regards, for example, of the investment fund. And I believe there are different macro indicators that also help us realize if we're getting closer to the end or we are not getting closer to the end. One big one, a really big one, it's how the government is changing to quantitative easing, and they are dropping rates and they are actually putting more money into the market by buying their bonds. But also, if inflation starts growing up, and that's another risk for the Fed, and they start increasing rates because of inflation, then the market is going to contract. So within those macroeconomic boundaries, I would say that our expectation between now and the end of the year is well above 10x our money, definitely.
Wow. No, that's amazing. Now, if you were starting from scratch today, you have no followers, no capital, no connections, what secret move would you use to get ahead fast?
That's a tough one. The first one would be, considering that I have 0 followers, I would have to start back from 0. I would try to fix one problem within one of the 3 major needs of the humans, which is money, love, or health. One of the 3, because that's going to be something we need forever as humans. One of those things, and sell my time on helping people with that problem. Just doing advertising on the consultancy of solving that specific time, whether that is how to build your crypto portfolio, or how to build a better relationship, or how to avoid a divorce, something like that, really specific, and put advertising money into it. And then every single dollar that I get out of that, I would put it into crypto. There is a couple of projects that I really like. One of them is SPX 6900. That one I love, that I think is going to grow really well. And the other one is Axie Infinity. I believe that thing is going to skyrocket also really well. So I would do one-on-one consulting and sell my time as much as I can, and put all the money that I don't need to live back into those 2 projects.
Amazing. That's great. Now, what's the biggest lie or misconception about wealth building that keeps 98% of people stuck?
I believe that at some point, the analysis becomes paralysis. So there has to be a space where you do your due diligence, because you have to do your due diligence. But there is also a moment where you just have to balance your risk and move on. I mean, if you're not willing to do 5% of your portfolio into this, okay, maybe just do 1%. But it's better to do 1% after 2 weeks of researching than doing 3 months of researching and not doing anything at all. Because every investment area, just as any expertise area in the world, it's gonna take you years to learn. I mean, if someone new approach you, like, teach me how to do real estate investment, I mean, it's going to take a long time to get there. So you better start with the size of risk that you have right now. You can tolerate what risk, and then just keep on learning. Because sometimes people stop because they think they need to have all the information before taking action, and they don't. That moment where you feel you have it all or you know it all will never come. That moment will never come. So you have to make a leap of faith at some point and take a risk that you're able to handle to move forward.
I totally agree with that. I mean, learning through doing. And there's nothing more frustrating than people going and spending all this money on courses or at these educational seminars, and they are not applying it, but they're course junkies. And they're going to the courses and they're not doing it. They just come out with, they feel like they're going to get ahead with the knowledge in their heads. But until you actually start applying it, you're not going to learn anything. And with real estate investing, I remember Vaughn and I spent a lot of money on our real estate investing courses because we were looking for a system and we were figuring out what to do. And every time we were doing a course, we did way too much too soon, but we were actually doing it. And so if we learned about wholesaling, we were wholesaling. If we learned about buying commercial building, we were buying that. And as a result, we made $1 million of mistakes. We wrote a book about it, real estate mistakes. But I'm very grateful for that because after we figured out what to do and what does work in those strategic
Exactly.
systems, we became excellent consultants. So now when people come to me and they say, I'm thinking of doing this, we could say, ah, I remember we did that. And here's some things of what not to do, or here are some tips to help you get there
Yes,
faster. And if we just read about those in books, or another problem that I have with YouTube is people are YouTubing their information and they'll try to be a crypto expert through YouTube, for example, or a real estate expert until
mhm,
through YouTube. But until you take that information and you start actually
yes,
applying it, you're not going to go any further. And one last example, my son who's studying finance, our oldest boy is 21 years old. He actually is studying finance and he has his a little portfolio going in stocks. I know nothing about that either. Along with crypto, I am real estate. Looking to diversify, I said I'll just give you all our money and you do this for us. And what he was saying at one point was a couple years before, he said, "Oh, we have these simulator trading accounts, so I'm simulating and trades." And I said, make small trades with money because you need to feel that pain and you
yes,
of when you lose it.
yes,
Because if you don't
yes,
feel that
yes,
and that also that excitement of those wins, because if it's simulated and you're just living this VA, we may have those VA headphones on and just virtual our whole lives here. We got to live our lives. We got to feel those ups, those downs, those pains. Because if we don't feel that pain, we'll never move forward. If we don't feel that excitement, we're less inclined to move forward. And like you were saying earlier, get out of our comfort zone and really kind of taking those risks that you really need to live an extraordinary life.
definitely, definitely. Those risks are what makes life worth it. I mean, having those experiences, having those up and downs, those highs. I mean, that is one of the really nice parts of investing. So you know that you have paid your fair share of pain in order to keep on growing and in order to keep on building and getting to the next stage. So yes, I believe that crypto and every other asset out there, there is risk involved. Definitely, in everything you do, there is risk. You need to find what's the threshold that you can bear and start as soon as possible so you can keep on growing with it.
Hmm.
So just find that sweet spot that it's okay for you and move with that sweet spot that you have. That will grow as you grow in experience also. But don't wait until that fear disappears because there you will never grow out of things to learn in any industry.
Yes, and thank you for acknowledging the risk in crypto. Thank you for acknowledging the risk in any investment. There's no guarantees in real estate
Exactly.
investment. There's GICs, which are a guarantee to go broke because they're they're not keeping up even with the cost of inflation. So, but there are no guarantees, and it's important to acknowledge that risk. So people have to go into things and when we're doing private equity, which we do a lot of, our exempt market dealers, they'll look at the client's performa and they will say, do a bit of a risk analysis and say, okay, like, can you afford to invest this amount of money in this one particular asset? Are you ready to lose all of this money? Because that always is a reality that can
Yes,
happen. And
that
it
can
makes me
happen for
concerned.
sure.
There's some experts out there that tell people to sell their homes and dump the entire earnings of their house into crypto.
Oh, that is really risky.
It does sound a little risky. So, as much as we want to move forward, you have to be a little conservative, I think, as well, and kind of analyze your overall whole wealth profile. Because I wouldn't tell someone to do that with
No,
investments either.
of course not. And I believe that in different stages of life, maybe you are able to tolerate different types of risk. I mean, for someone like you and me, I mean, we have families, we have children, we have responsibilities. We cannot afford to do something like that because it doesn't make any sense because our lives are nice right now. Why would we risk having this stability and this peace of mind for what? I mean, it's better to keep on growing like that. But if you are in a different stage of your life where maybe you don't have that much to lose, it might be worth to make bigger risk because you will have more time ahead to get back on track. It's not the same for someone at their 20s, their 25, that is for someone at their 40s or 50s or 60s. So I believe that risk tolerance goes into life stages and also with the confidence or that you have with the one that is going with you. Because I believe that the riskiest thing is not the industry, is to go with the wrong person.
Yes.
That is the riskiest
Yes.
because it might real estate on my hands would be so much riskier than it is because I don't know real estate.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe crypto on my hands because I know what I'm doing is less riskier than it would be for me to go on to real estate.
And
So
if you go into
risk is
real estate, that could be with the wrong person too.
exactly. So risk is yes at some degree attached to the industry, but I would say that risk is more attached to the person that is helping you approach the industry.
Yes. And I think the greatest risk is doing nothing at all.
Of course, yeah.
Doing nothing at all. And I think a lot of people do that. They do nothing because they're scared, they're confused, they want to hold on to the little nest egg that they have or the little amounts that they have, the life
Yeah,
that they created, because they can't break out of that box. They don't
yeah,
really know anything different and they're so scared of change. I think change is so scary, but that's when you're at the greatest risk of losing everything. Sometimes doing nothing is the most dangerous thing because if we're not growing, we're dying. So we're either moving
definitely.
forward every day and growing, otherwise we're staying the same and we're dying a little bit every day. And that's when you become like a dinosaur and become extinct. So
Yes, yes, yes.
what do you see the top 1 to 2% wealthiest people and families doing consistently that the rest of the world really ignores or avoids?
What I see from a lot of my friends that are really wealthy that they are doing for several generations because this is I mean in my family I am the first one to be able to make the money that I'm making. So I didn't grow up on that environment. I had to learn those things and unlearn a lot of things. But what I can see from my friends that they have all of that through their life is it's like automatically when they are going to do whatever new, they go to the best consultant they can find in that area. It doesn't matter if they are trying to start, they want to run, and because they want to do a marathon, they don't start running by themselves. It's like obviously immediately they start hiring someone to help them get there faster, whatever they do, even if that's cooking or that's traveling or that's learning to play tennis or whatever. They always go to the best person they have in their network because they have a huge network because of the family and so on. And they go there and they start there. I see that. And I didn't learn that because my mind before was on a scarce mindset of maybe I can learn this for free with books and internet and free information, and I can save myself that money for that other person because I cannot afford it. So I want to do it as cheap as possible. But that cheap as possible turned into months and years and mistakes that ended up costing way more money.
Yep.
So I had to unlearn that.
That is so true. Like we shared our story, $1 million in mistakes. That is so true. And use
Yeah.
your resources, use your team, and like don't be scared of a story that someone just told me yesterday. One of our tax advisors yesterday, or financial planners yesterday, told a story about a high net worth client who was not structured properly for their estate plan, and it was going to cost them millions of dollars when in taxes when they pass their estate on. So they had to spend over $100,000 to work with this one accountant who restructured them to save them $7 million
Yeah.
tax
Yeah.
wise.
Yeah.
So I don't know how people could sit down and think I could figure this out on my own.
Yeah.
The better results that you want, I think the higher level thinking you are, you don't the results that you've gotten yourself is where you are today is great because
Yeah.
you're here. But if you want to get to the next level, you have to take that next level advice and surround yourself with experts. I think it really is tapping into those experts to really help you get there faster with a more proven path, even though there's a charge to it. You don't need to be an expert in every area of your life. I think the more successful people become, I think the less they do of everything else and the more they do of their one thing. And financial
Yeah.
freedom becomes more and
Mhm.
more one of those goals. So
Definitely, definitely, definitely. Being an expert in one thing and doing teams with all the other experts in that other thing. So it's better to grow in community. It's better to grow in team building than trying to do it all by yourself. And there is something, this flip thought that I heard from Alex Hormozy that I really like, where he said that imagine that you are earning $1 million or $10 million a year or whatever your number is, and by not reaching and doing what you need to be doing, you are losing that amount of money for every year that passes. So it inverts the risk. So you should be earning that amount of money now. So you're losing that money for every minute that you're not taking action on doing what you know you should be doing. And I'm pretty sure by listening all of these interviews with all these amazing people, a lot of the people in your audience are going to realize that maybe one or two or three are their signs to keep on moving forward.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, is there anything else that you wanted to share with our audience? I understand you have a free gift to share.
Yes, yes, I believe that because of I got something, I got an audio course on how to make investments on crypto that I can give away for free, definitely. And I believe that due to the market circumstances and due to the times that we have right now, something with more value could be a free consultation. So I'm willing to do a one-on-one free consultation of half an hour for whoever mentions this interview that I'm doing with you for this summit, and can reach me out on X. They can send me a DM on X, or they can send me an email. I can send you the information so you can share it with them. And I will be willing to do a 30-minute consultation with them. And on top of the free course on how to invest in crypto.
Oh, wow. That is so generous. Thank you so much for that. And audience, I will be including the URLs to those in the body of this email of where you're actually watching this video. So we'll put everything together neatly and people know how to contact you. And I am so grateful for this conversation and I
Me
feel
too.
like I kind of hogged you a little bit and was asking my own personal questions here too. Because genuinely interested in adding crypto and learning more about this important wealth building strategy. Thank you so much for your time. You've helped so many people today.
I
And
really appreciate it.
audience, thank you so much for tuning in and make sure to check your inbox tomorrow. We'll have another interview from an amazing wealth building expert that will show you how to fast track your financial freedom. Thanks so much, everyone.